In 1945, the world changed forever. At 8:15 a.m., the first uranium bomb, Little Boy, was dropped on Hiroshima. It was a 15-kiloton detonation. The sky tore open with a flash brighter than 1,000 suns, releasing a searing heat of 3,900 degrees Celsius that vaporized everything within a 1-mile radius instantly. Just 3 days later, a 21-kiloton plutonium bomb named Fat Man struck Nagasaki. It generated a blast wind of 1,000 kilometers per hour, sending a mushroom cloud surging 18 kilometers into the atmosphere. But just 16 years later, in October 1961, the Soviet Union detonated something that made those bombs look like toys, the 50-megaton bomb named Tsar Bomba. Its mushroom cloud reached 60 kilometers high, 7 times the height of Mount Everest, piercing the very edge of space. This is the story of the world's largest and most powerful weapon. In this video, we dive deep into the inner engineering of the Tsar Bomba, explaining its complex functions and deployment. You are watching Let's Grow Up. If you like our content, hit the like button. This is Tsar Bomb. It measured 8 meters or 26 feet in length and 2.1 meters or 7 feet in diameter, weighing a staggering 27,000 kilograms, 27 metric tons. Inside the casing, the bomb uses a multi-stage thermonuclear process. The primary stage is a fission reaction that serves as the trigger for the secondary stage, the thermonuclear fusion reaction. The primary stage consists of several critical layers. The outermost layer is designed to create a perfectly symmetrical inward shockwave. This is a slow explosive layer. Uranium-238 tamper, a dense layer of uranium-238. This serves a dual purpose. It acts as a mirror to reflect neutrons into the core, and its massive density provides inertia, holding the core together for a few billionths of a second longer so more atoms can split. The vacuum gap, a hollow space that allows the tamper to gain momentum before striking the core, is called levitation. At the heart of the core, a sphere of plutonium-239 or uranium-235. The booster. At the very center lies a mixture of deuterium and tritium gas. When the core compresses, this gas undergoes fusion, releasing a massive burst of neutrons that boosts the power of the initial fission. While the primary stage provides the spark, the secondary stage provides the power. This stage is located right next to the primary. Inside the secondary stage, we find these layers. The Pusher-Tampe, the outermost shell of the secondary stage. In most bombs, this is made of uranium, but in the Tsar Bomba, it was made of lead to limit the radioactive fallout. The fusion fuel, lithium deuteride. This is the main fuel of the bomb. It is a solid, ceramic-like material. When it is compressed and heated, it creates the fusion reaction. The spark plug, plutonium rod. In the very center of the fusion fuel is a rod of plutonium-239. As the fusion fuel is squeezed inward, this rod also compresses and undergoes fission, heating the fusion fuel from the inside out. Inside the massive outer casing of the Tsar Bomba, there is a large open area. It is filled with a special polystyrene foam. When the primary explodes, it releases X-rays that turn this foam into plasma, instantly compressing the secondary stage from all sides.
The Tsar Bomba featured a massive 800 square meter parachute attached to its rear to slow its fall. As this bomb was so massive, it was carried by a specially modified Tupolev Tu-95V bomber. It was carried semi-recessed, meaning it hung partly outside the plane. On October 30th, 1961, at 11:32 a.m., the modified Tu-95 bomber reached an altitude of 10,500 meters above the icy Mitsushika Bay. The crew knew this wasn't just a mission, it was a race for their lives. When the bomb was released, it didn't just fall. It deployed a massive, multi-stage parachute system because the pilots needed every single millisecond to escape. The main parachute was a staggering 1,600 square meters, roughly the size of 4 basketball courts. This gave the crew exactly 188 seconds to fly as far away as possible. As the bomb stabilized into a vertical drop, its internal barometric sensors began screaming measurements back to the brain of the bomb. The bomb was programmed to detonate at 4,000 meters above the target. If it had struck the Earth, the ground would have swallowed much of the energy. By exploding it high in the sky, the Soviet engineers ensured the shockwave would flatten everything in its path for miles in every direction. Major Andrei Durnovtsev had pushed his engines to the absolute limit. He was 45 kilometers away, a distance that would normally take you 30 minutes to drive. Yet it wasn't enough. The Tsar Bomba was the most powerful explosion in history. Its massive fireball was 8 kilometers wide and hotter than the sun. The heat was so strong it could burn skin 100 kilometers away. The blast created a giant mushroom cloud that reached 67 kilometers high, touching the edge of space. On the ground, everything within 35 kilometers was totally destroyed, and rocks even melted into glass. The shockwave was so powerful that it traveled around the entire Earth 3 times. It was not just a bomb, it was an event that shook the whole planet.